Hey everybody, it's Vicki.
The product I'm using here is called Kraft-tex. The link is in the description.
It is fixing to go in the washing machine. Okay? And I will be back. First thing I'm going to do is some modeling paste. Now if I wanted to cover, good, still good, thank you, Deco Art. Okay, Radiant Gel, come on. There. I want to color this, but I don't want to color it with anything that's got a whole lot of water in it, because it will affect the consistency of the modeling paste. Okay, now I'm just going to put this bronze color over this stencil. And y'all have heard me preach at you before, so what do you do when you've got modeling paste on a stencil besides get your knife up underneath it? First thing you do when you get finished is go wash off your stencil. Because it will ruin it. Now how's that for coming up with the perfect amount? I tell you. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. Isn't that an advertising song? Okay, now wipe off the stuff off the palette knife. Cool, perfect color. Now let's see if we can just get some of the extra off. And as usual, I have no plan. But so it'll make it easier for y'all to see, this time I'm going to mix in this little, it's a packaging of some sort. I usually try to keep a couple of these laying around just for this purpose. Okay, this is modeling paste again. And this time I'm going to, what am I going to do? This is Primary Elements Indian Copper. That's apropos, don't you think? So what I'm going to do is just put, I'm going to put one of the female figures right here. I'm going to add just a little bit of black emerald. Remember, I said I'm making this up as I go along. Okay, now I'm going to do another one of my, I think I'm going to do this one. Move her up a little bit. I'm trying to mix some of the first color. I didn't mix those within an inch of their lives. If you will not get in the habit of just mixing and mixing and mixing, you'll end up with color variations that you can't plan. See how I'm getting some of the dark color all through the body? This time I'm using Color Art Primary Elements Emperor's Gold. We're just going to work with this. I'll fake what I'm looking at is this is squared off on the top and the bottom, and I thought it would be nice to have one that was where they end, but I think I can fake it. And this is so close to the same color as the leather, and that's perfect because I don't want any of this to jump in your face. The success to a good piece of artwork is making people want to look at it over and over because they see something different every time. Now my second mixture was a little bit lighter in color, and that's fine because it just creates a little bit of depth. Just let these things happen. Alrighty. Now we're going to use a stencil and some of the new Vivid Ultra Italics. I've got a T90 stencil brush here. Pounce off most of what you have on the brush and then pounce up and down. The secret to a good stencil is having just the barest amount of paint. If you get too much paint, it will go underneath and give you a blurry edge. And I keep looking because I want them to look like water drops. And they do. If you leave out too much of the shape of the water drop, it won't look like a water drop. Now let's scoot this down just a little and pick up a couple. Voila. The Vivid Ultra Metallic is super metallic. This video is part of a hop for color art products, and a group of us got together to do this and use the color art products, and each of the videos is limited to 10 minutes, and if you go through the rotation by following the first name on your list, every time you go to watch a new video, just drop down in the description box and follow the next name, the top name on the list. Leave a comment. Please leave a comment. We love them. That's what motivates us to keep going. Keep doing this and giving you free content. Cost you nothing except a little bit of your time. And we really, really do appreciate the comments. But in addition, there is a grand prize drawing with color art materials. So you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Capiche? Capiche. Okay. Okay. I think that was my public service announcement. We're going to go with Dragon Gold. Just a little different color. Oh. Oh. Brrr. That looks yummy. Looks like it has some blue in it. A little secret about me. I'm not crazy about warm colors. Oranges, yellows, and reds. They're alright in moderation, but most of the time they're used way too strong, way too much. Let's just say I'm sensitive to hot colors. Support your local artist. Some of us have Patreon accounts or tip jars on YouTube, and you think about how many times you've sat and watched 30 minutes someone tell you their every secret, and how much you would love to keep that content free. Tell us. Send us $1. You know, we're not expensive. We're not high maintenance. I'm using a stick because you can't really predict what's going to happen when you squeeze a bottle direct onto your work, so I just put a little stick. Archival ink micron, and I believe this might be a purple. So all we're doing is creating an illusion. You're not giving them the entire plot of your story. You're giving them the illusion of your story and encouraging them to fill in the blanks as it suits the viewer.
Now we're going to put some elastic cord in the journal, and I'm measuring 3/8 of an inch from the bottom and top edge, making a mark. Vertical, and then I'm making another mark 3/8 inch from that. And repeating it for the top edge. Now you can put yours, you know, you make decisions on the fly sometimes. So I measured 3/8 inch on either side of the center, which made the space between my holes a little bit too big, but I could always come back in there and put in another set of holes, which would give 6. I've got an awl, and I've got, well, a pokey tool and a piece of wood that I keep real handy. Because did you know you can punch through self-healing mats, especially with a hole puncher? Ask me how I know. One of those screw punches like bookbinders use. They'll cut right into a self-healing mat. So that's where I'm measuring 3/8 and then 3/8. But you know, it might work out. Well, it will work out fine because nobody cares about that space in the middle on the inside. But sometimes your little booklets or your signatures inside can get pretty fat. So it may be that that was a happy accident. But either way, you could put another set of holes at 3/8 inch and you'd have 3 holes, 3/8 inch apart. I had a little phone call there, so if you hear it, ignore it, because I cut the rest of it out. Now the cord will, you'll see it in a minute, but the cord will, from the 2 holes, the cord will go on the outside, just that little 3/8 of an inch. And you'll have one above the other. And that will give you 4 signatures inside. Or 3. No, 2. 2 on each cord. I'll get it right. I really did do this. Pink hair alert. I think I really like this binding. This is Robin McClendon's. I have had one where the holes were side by side for each signature, and it tends to pull the corner of the book in. But hey, since my traveler is going to be in the jungle at some point, maybe it's good to have those little top edges curl in where the spine is. Alrighty, I am going to speed this up a little bit because it's kind of boring just watching me poke holes. It's kind of a hit and miss process for learning how to put the cord in, but it's logical if you just have your logic head on. There is no sound on the rest of this till the end, so feel free. As you can tell, I've fast forwarded. I had the bright idea that, oh man, I could use my new waxed linen that I got in my bookbinding kit. And then once I had that first one in there, I realized that that wouldn't work because it's not stretchy. Hello. And I need to get some needles that have a bigger eye. The ones they sent in that kit. Yeah, smooth move, X-Lax. You took that stitch right over the edge. You'd never know I used to be a proficient seamstress. Crack me up. And I didn't want to measure it, so I tried doing it, keeping one end hooked to the roll. Don't do that. I figure it takes, 2.5 times the length of the spine. And you always want to err on the side of having a little bit too much. Otherwise, you're left with a piece that's the size of the spine. It's too little. You could always save it for a smaller journal, but then you'd have to worry about finding it. Ask me how I know. Okay, you go from I want to make sure I did it right. Hang on, Snoopy. Snoopy, hang on. Doo-doo. I'm here, just hang on. Okay, you go from the top hole down to the bottom top hole, and then the bottom hole at the top to the bottom hole at the bottom, and that makes the elastics the same size all throughout. I put mine together wrong when I did it. And I decided that I wanted some red cord. So I found, oh my God, Randy's mother's little hoard of sewing stuff. The rest of it all went to Betsy, daughter Betsy. But this was a little package of elastic on sale somewhere for 27 cents. Probably at Ben Franklin or something. No telling how old it was. But it was still stretchy. So, if y'all follow me much at all, you know that I get impatient. And I don't want to wait to order some red elastic. I want it now. And then I thought about how Distress Oxide ink is fairly permanent when it gets dry. So voila! And it makes a mess on your hands. I think it took a day or two for it to come off. And you can wear gloves if you're a wuss or if you still have a life outside your house. There are times when gloves are expedient, but I'm an artist. I get to wear clothes with paint on them, hands with paint on them, and dyed red. Looks like I murdered a chicken in the backyard. It didn't dawn on me to get the re-inker. Now see, if I didn't have the re-inker, I wouldn't want to use my ink pad. You don't want to use it. Now I'm just pulling it and looking for white areas. So I've done 2 of those. Gonna dry them a little bit. I didn't dry them all the way, so I got some bleeding on the inside of my book, but that's okay too. Hi, how y'all doing? Now this stuff was a bish to get threaded in that needle. It's a binding needle, but it's got a small hole, not a small hole. I'm trying to thread. And you can't thread and hold under the camera at the same time. Alright, I think we're about there. Ah, yeah, look at that. Nope, not yet. I put it in my mouth and smash it with my teeth and, whatever I can to try to get that small enough to go. I'm getting frustrated. No, we got it. Now this is where I did it wrong. Okay, there's my tail. And I went from the top hole to the bottom hole. So my string on one of those strings is, the space for it is bigger than it is on the other. So I didn't finish the knots. Yeah, pat. So I can go back in and tighten it up a little bit. And I forgot that I needed a loop for the book closure. So here we go again. Try a different way of doing it. No, it didn't work. I could cut this part out, but I want y'all to suffer the same thing I went through as I was trying to get this done. See, I'm not very nice. Suffer! And the beauty of a Midori style book is that all of this is intransient. It's not permanent. There's a big word for you. The threading thing again. Here we go. I learned to thread a needle by folding it over the eye and putting that folded piece in the eye, but it doesn't work with elastic. That's kind of like making knots. My daddy taught me how to make a knot just with one hand. You just wrap it around your finger and pull it towards you, and it kind of makes a knot. Takes practice, though. Hello, pink hair. Matches the Distress Oxide. I had my first pink hair in 1966 for the homecoming dance. Of course, then you wore your hair all kind of teased and you wore it put up. So I had my hair all put up, and then the beautician pulled out a straw. And in that straw, she had a streak of hair just this color. And she was able to put it in, I don't know how, bobby pin, I guess. I don't know what it was. And then comb that in as part of the swoop on my head. And then so much hairspray that it, yeah, you know, you touch one side and the other side moves. So I guess I was destined to be pink hair. At least I'm not the little old lady with blue hair. They use too much, God, what was that called? Minx. It used to come in a silver bottle. And if you use too much of it, it would make your hair blue. Do the same thing, which means I'll have to change it. The same thing. So top hole to top hole, bottom hole, no. Yeah, top to bottom, and then the bottom hole, bottom hole to the next to the top hole. I'm sorry. Now I tied them up kind of tight. Again, I'm not sure if it's going to be tight enough, but if I get some with more resistance, I will. Yeah, I'm finding the center. I'm probably getting red. We're getting there, guys. It's almost over. And I didn't want to thread again, so I'm trying to poke this through. So you poke both ends through from the center. Then you tie a knot in those ends. And you want, when you stretch it out, you want it to be about 3/4 of the way of the width of the book. You don't want it to go all the way, because then it won't be won't be enough tension on it to close your book good. I'm just thinking about threading that elastic. If you took a piece of tape and went around the end of it and then flattened the tape, that might help. Just slide it, it might just slide it right on through. Now I'm going to try to poke the end of the thing, but that doesn't work. Get through there. Got it. And there you are. Bye-bye.